If you want, desire, pray for 17 different things, yikes. You're going to be a busy person because you're probably going to have to be 17 different people. And they're all going to take even longer than if you would have gotten hyper-focused on the journey of the one type of person that you hope to be becoming so that you can do those things on a regular basis, ideally every day. Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detailed Therapy. I'm so excited to be here today. You know, I was inspired to do this podcast because we brought it up a little bit on a recent one. And I was like, oh, I feel like we just scratched the surface on that. We need to do a bit of a deep dive because this conversation has been happening a lot. And I actually started it with my community over at Simply Ambitious. It's my newsletter. If you're not signed up, go to simplyambitious.co, simplyambitious.co. I will link to it below as well. I wanted to talk about this because we are hearing so much around the word manifestation. And even you just hearing it, I want you to think about what your pre-existing assumptions about it are. What do you think about manifestation? What is it that you know about it? Are you doing it in your life? Are you actively doing it? Do you think it's weird? What are your thoughts? I want you to sit in those because we're going to correct them right now. And even if you don't like the idea of manifestation at all, if you feel like your ability to call the universe to help you with anything is different than the idea of manifestation, that's okay too. But I wanted to clarify it because I think there's some people out there who are really relying hard on it. And they're like, I am manifesting so hard on my thing. Bring me the thing that I want so bad, but they're not doing it correctly. And believe it or not, it's possible to manifest not in your favor. The biggest thing being, we all think we're manifesting by having our goals set, right? Maybe you set your goals at the beginning of the year. Maybe you set goals on a weekly basis, whatever. And you're like, okay, what am I going to focus on? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And we have this list and we focus on that list. And then we maybe think about the movie The Secret a little bit or the book, depending on how you feel. And it's like, okay, I just got to really focus. I got to have my vision board. I got to stare at the things that I want. And I will manifest them and I will manifest them. And I'm telling myself I will manifest them and I'm going to manifest those things. That is not manifesting. It is basically just labeling wishing incorrectly. That's all we're talking about. You are wishing. I wish for that car. I wish for that job. I wish for that money. I wish for that life. I wish. Bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. I'm manifesting. That ain't it, okay? That ain't it. That is not manifesting. So we needed to get that out there first because if you thought at the beginning of the episode, I know what manifesting is. It's being really focused on the things I hope to achieve or the things I hope to have. Then hopefully now you've opened up your mind to the fact that, oh, maybe I have just been putting wishes out into the world. Maybe I just play the lottery. Maybe I just flip a coin into a fountain and hope for the best. That's it. Wishes, hopes. That's not manifestation. And so we have to kick that to the curb immediately. It does not mean you don't have a list of goals. It does not mean you don't know what you want. Having absolute clarity is vital to this process. But we cannot just assume it is about the thing. You know how we like to say all the time, it's not about the end, it's about the journey, it's about the process, it's about the experience. Well, that's not hyperbole. That is true. This is about the journey. So we need to get focused on what that actually looks like. Not just, I'll sign up for it and I'll just, whatever comes, comes. It's what is the journey? We don't have to decide how it's going to be, but we do need to know what it is because it should indicate to you that you are on the right path most of the time. There are going to be lots of unknowns And you need to be hyper aware of the unknowns. Even if you don't know that there are unknowns, just knowing that there is something that you don't know is so important. We are very entitled with our sense of knowing in this life. We think we know everything. Believe me, you're speaking to a recovering know-it-all, okay? We think we know it all, and then we get very frustrated when somebody tries to tell us what we think we already know. And that's a very limiting experience. That's a great way to not be a student of life, and that is a great way to never get what you want because you are white-knuckling the journey. We're not going to do that, but we do need to know what that journey is going to look like. And here's why. Manifestation is not hyper-focus on the goal. Manifestation is absolute clarity of the goal, but all about the action that you take to get there. There's that word again, action. I know I say it a lot. It's annoying. It's annoying because it's true, okay? It's about what you do on the way to the goal. That's it. If you say, I want to have $1 million in the bank, I want to have $1 million. I want to log into my app for my bank, and I want to see 7 figures sitting there. That's interesting. Okay, great. That could be your goal. Totally fine. Maybe we don't have it in a bank account. Maybe we have it in a smarter investment account. But whatever. That's beside the point. We want to log in somewhere. We want to see 7 figures. Cool. Okay. If you're on that journey, are you going to spend every paycheck that you get on anything but saving or investing? That doesn't sound like that would qualify on the journey. So you see what I'm getting at. If we are only thinking about the wish, or we're only thinking about the end goal, and we're not thinking about the journey, we can't align the two. And therefore, your actions are not showing what you hope to see happen. And so I think the best way for you to shape this in your mind is, how do I know? How do I know what I'm doing on the journey is accurate? How do I know? You're not going to know everything. But what you will probably be able to do in a way that's going to let you look at those actions and assess what you're doing and assess what you could be doing better and assess what changes you might make a little bit better is realizing, am I emulating the person I am becoming? A person who has $1 million in the bank probably saved money on their journey. When was the last time you saved money? When was the last time you emulated a version of that person? Who the person is that makes something happen, writes a book someday, saves a bunch of money, drives a certain car. Who the person is, that action of taking that persona on and emulating that is manifestation. That is what manifesting is. If you feel it's looking the part, dressing the part, that could be it. But what does it actually mean to achieve your goal, and what does a person have to look like? What do they sound like? What do they act like? What do they do? What are they constantly getting their reps in on? What are they like in order to make that happen? That is so different than just, I want that car, I want that money, I want that job, I want to work for myself, I want that body, I want that, I want that, I want that. No, great, cool, awesome, sounds like a lot of things. Do you feel equally passionate about all of those things? Not sure. But what is the thing you want the most? You're not manifesting it unless you are thinking about who the person who already has that is. Because if you actually believe in your heart of hearts that this is already happening for you, because it is, and it very well could be, then you would have to be that person already. And the only way to do that is to take the steps every day to show it. What can I do today to emulate the person who has that money in the bank? What can I do today to emulate the person who has achieved those fitness goals? What am I doing to be that person? That's how you take a wish and turn it into an action plan. Huge distinction. The reason why the former determination of what manifestation is doesn't work is because you see so many things on a daily basis that you compare yourself to. And you're comparing yourself for a reason. We'll get to that. But you see that and you're just like, that's never going to happen. It's so close to me. It's just telling me that somebody else got it first, so it's never going to happen. It's so far away. And when you get hyper focused on your goals that have not happened yet, hyper focused that you're obsessed, that's really the better word for it. I wouldn't say focus is bad. I would say obsession is bad. The obsession of the goal makes it feel very far away. Very far away. And if that's all you have to look forward to, that's not going to drive you into the next moment. That's not going to give you fuel. It's going to be discouraging. So only having the action plan of obsessing over something that feels far away is a great way to stay in a negative mindset. But here's the good news. If you have been obsessing over 1, 2, maybe 3 particular things that you're like, yes, that, I just want that. Cool. That clarity is very important. Very important. Because what did we just say? You have to emulate the person you're becoming. If you have to emulate the person that you're becoming, you need to do some things. If you want, desire, pray for 17 different things, yikes. You're going to be a busy person because you're probably going to have to be 17 different people. Really not the case, probably. They're going to have some things in common, but let's say it's 7. Like, all of these things I want are actually probably characteristic of 7 different types of people. You're going to be busy. You're going to feel spread thin. You're going to be mediocre at best at all of them. And they're all going to take even longer than if you would have gotten hyper focused on the journey of the one type of person that you hope to be becoming so that you can do those things on a regular basis, ideally every day. The clarity that you have, don't let it get you down. If it's like everyone owns their own business, everyone, like why am I the only stooge with an employer? If that's how it feels, I'm just giving an example. If that's how it feels, I think we can point to something that you have absolute clarity of. And if you feel like you're the only person on earth who hasn't figured out how to start your own business so that you can have time freedom, work on your own terms, live a life on your own terms, you're probably not the best employee at the job. You could be pretty good, just naturally. You might be excellent at what you do, but your head's probably not in the game. So who are you best serving? How great is this safety net? Regardless of all of that, I think we have absolute clarity on something that you are very, very excited about. So how would you begin to emulate that person that's on their way to becoming a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a service provider, a consultant, a coach? How do you emulate that person? Don't let the comparison syndrome get you down. Point out to yourself all the things that have been bugging you lately about what you do not have the luxury of, and let it be the light at the end of the tunnel. But the tunnel is still there. So what are we driving? How are we walking? What are we doing to make this happen? What are we going to do to get closer? That is the manifestation process. So that's what we're going to do. We are focusing the energy on the person that we need to become to achieve this goal. All of our energy goes into that person we are becoming. All of that energy goes into the steps we take every day. All of that energy is going into the conversations we have with ourselves. All of those pieces of ideas and energy and thoughts and strategies and tips that we get are going toward who this person needs to be. What time does she wake up? What does she read about? When faced with adversity, How will she persevere? That is a big piece of it. How many times do you visualize success and visualize the part that's hard? Because that's that part, that's in the tunnel, okay? If you're going to be training for a marathon, it's going to be hard one day when you're out there in the rain and you really wish you gotten all your miles in already and you're done. Those are going to happen. So if we don't visualize for that adversity to happen, we're not going to know what to do in those moments. We may not push through. This is why people give up. It's not because they don't care about the goal. It's because they never manifested who they needed to be in those times when it's hard. Because guess what? Like everyone likes to tell you, it's going to be hard at some point, many times. So what is she like? How does she manage her time? Does she calendar block? How does she manage her tasks? What are the things she says no to because they don't fit the manifest? It gets really, really easy to say no to something when you have absolute clarity of what your yes is. By the way, on this note, for those of you who are like, okay, cool, Amy, I don't have absolute clarity. I have lots of ideas. I'd like to try many things. I don't know what I should choose. I don't know what the safest thing is. I don't know what the most successful thing is going to be. Stop. Your problem is not that you have too many good ideas. Your problem is that you can't make a decision. Now, leave this aside. Think about another time that you didn't make a decision. Something less high stakes. Maybe it was the conversation you had last night with your significant other about what to have for dinner. Isn't that exhausting? It's the most exhausting conversation. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? Can one of us just pick? And then one of us does pick. And then the other person's like, I wouldn't have picked that. Oh, well, great. Okay. Make the decision. What about what you chose to wear this morning? How long did that take? How long did that take to decide? When we have a challenging time making decisions, we are not going to get any better at it on the things that matter to us the most. And in all reality, just order the stupid Chinese food. Like, who cares? Just put the dress on. Does it fit? Cool. Is it weather appropriate? Great. Throw a cardigan on. Okay. Just make the decision, because there are going to be such more important things for you to wrap your head around making a very conscious decision for, that these other little things need to be the practice mode. And for this, what is absolute clarity of the thing that you're working and dressing and eating and doing every day for? Just pick. Because guess what? The sooner you pick, I'm just going to try this and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time, a reasonable amount of time to be focused on it and do the thing and really learn, so that the moment I know it's not right, I can pivot. And guess what a pivot is? A decision. And you'll be better at making decisions because of that. Make the decision. I'm telling you right now, you don't have unlimited great ideas. I love you. I know you think that. You probably have a couple great ideas. Pick one. You're not going to pick the wrong one. You're not. You're going to pick one. You're going to work on it. Let's say you give yourself a year. I'm going to start my own business as a services-based company and deliver for clients for this thing. And I'm going to give myself a year to side hustle it first so I can leave my job. If you are 3 months in, you don't like the work, you don't like how to sell yourself, you don't even like what the offering is to sell yourself, you're not enjoying any free work you're doing, you're not enjoying researching it, you're just going to know this is not for me. We have to combat fear of failure, but we're going to know. Make the decision. Have faith in yourself that if it's something you really, 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 really want, you can be patient enough to learn what you don't know. You don't have to be the best of the best yet. You just have to start and make the decision and get absolute clarity on something. And then ask yourself, what is this person like who has a successful business in this area? What is this person like when they're side hustling so that they can leave their job in a year? What does this person do on weekends? What time does this person wake up? How late do they stay up? How much sleep do they get? What does she say no to? These are parts of the manifestation process. So with all of that in mind, I want you to get absolute clarity on something. And here are just a couple more tips for you to be thinking about as you manifest in your life. First, I want you to write down your commitment every day. It is one thing to have total clarity on your goals. I want that car. I want that business. I want to be able to work from home and whatever. Okay, that's great. But when you know your commitments, that's a whole nother level of knowing your goals. What are you committed to? How are you committing to this vision so that you can manifest it? Write your commitments every day. And that is a completely different look at your goals. Because you're not just seeing something that could happen. You are seeing what you are being called to do. Next, say no to anything that does not fit those commitments. It's really simple. And it doesn't have to have this grand explanation. I love the Phoebe. What's the Phoebe line? Oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to. It's that, but way nicer, right? Oh, I wish I could, but that is not a fit for me right now. Ooh, actually, I have a rule not to go to parties when I'm in the middle of a big campaign. I'm sorry. Having the no ready means having an understanding as to why it's a no. And when you have total clarity on your commitments and your goals, it is a lot easier. I'm giving you permission to have those commitments in the first place. Have the commitment. Feel like you can take ownership over something. And you are allowed to be committed to something that you're going to change your mind on in a week. That is your decision. That is your discretion. For anyone to say that it is wrong for you to stop doing something when you make the decision to stop, not out of fear of failure, not out of I'm tired, just no, I am totally realizing this isn't it. That is your decision. You get one life. It does not matter how long it took you to come to that conclusion. The better you get at decision making, the easier that switch is. And the people who are not good at decision making will not understand. And that is fine. That is fine. So know what your commitments are. Write them down every day. Remind yourself it's okay to be committed to these. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm learning right now. And I have to say no to the things that do not fit. And that's that. And finally, do not overload that manifest. Be very picky and be very specific. Picky and specific are not the same, but you need them both. I am going to only pick 1, 2, maybe 3 things that I am manifesting because I cannot emulate every human that got every cool thing in the world. I have to be very picky about what I'm focused on right now. And it doesn't mean I can't achieve much more in my life, but right now I have to see this project through. And you need to be specific. Not only am I picking this 1, 2, or 3 things, here is what I specifically hope to see if they were to come true. The more you can visualize it, the better, because the deeper the explanation of what your commitments and what your daily tasks and what your habits are is going to be. So write those commitments and goals down every single day. Do not forget what they are and say no to what doesn't fit. And make sure that it's a very, very short, focused list. Stop obsessing over the goal. Get focused on what it looks like to emulate the person who you are becoming, and then you will have learned what the true existence of manifesting is. And it is so much fun when you do it. So much fun. I hope that was helpful for you today. Like I said, I shared this for the first time in the newsletter. If you want this info before the podcast, before videos, before anywhere else, that's where I'm going to share so much good stuff. It's over at simplyambitious.co. You can sign up. It's a free newsletter, and I'll drop it into your inbox a couple times a week. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers.